Today on Words of Radiance, Dr. Troy will be discussing the spiritual journey that can be deeply personal with an introspective experience that we really need in our lives. For many of us, it even includes examining our beliefs, exploring our relationships with God and higher power, and grappling with the questions of faith, fear, and morality. In this podcast, Dr. Troy will dive into the topic of talking about your spiritual journey and how important it is to be sharing it with others. Whether you're a devout Christian, maybe you're a seeker of the truth, or someone who simply is curious about the mysteries of life and death, Dr. Troy's podcast will provide valuable insights and guidance on how you can, with your family and friends, encourage a meaningful but delightful conversations about the fact of your spiritual path.
Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Troy Munson. This may not get me a lot of fan mail, but I think it's a conversation that needs to be had. And I'm more than happy to welcome your comments and concerns and ideas as well. And I think this is something that is going to be profound for some of you out there, especially if you have young children and are wondering how to raise them. Some of you may be grandparents getting back into taking care of young children. Some of you may be business owners or school teachers or anybody in any kind of authority may very well listen to this and realize, you know what, there are some tools here that I can use in many different areas and aspects of my life and within dealing with people. So the title of this may have caught you, Is God Moral? And ultimately, let's talk about morality for a moment. Way back, somebody did something to somebody, and somebody didn't feel that they were being treated very fairly. And so they said, hey, we have got to have morals. We've got to have some code of conduct that we can point to when somebody's not playing nice or well with others, so that we can guide them or force them to act in a way that's more becoming and more helpful for society. And so thus this moral code was created. Now, in the beginning, so to speak, we could not see each other's thoughts. We often still can't, but I digress. Though as we were wondering what each person is thinking and doing, and they do something that seems chaotic or against the fabric of society at the time, if it was only 10 people in a community or 150, which was likely the size as we lived in these small, tight-knit communities, and knew that it was very vital for each of us to help each other in order just to make it through the winter. We needed each other, and there was a certain code of conduct that was just expected. You didn't steal, you didn't hurt, you didn't maim, you didn't do any of these things. And it's kind of silly, but ultimately, when I had children, I watched them and I'm thinking, why would you just take your sibling's toy? That doesn't make any sense. And so I waited for the moment that my children were old enough that I could actually ask them questions and find out what their thinking was. Because fear starts at such a young age, we don't even realize it, that we've been bred into this lack and limitation. And so you see somebody playing with a toy that's having a great time, you think, I want to have that, because it doesn't feel like that right now for me. So I'm going to take that toy and see if it makes me happy like it seems to be making them happy. And of course, they take the toy, and now you've got a crying sibling that's upset, that believes something could be taken from them, because now they just see lack that they do not have, and now they're sad or decided to be sad, all on their own, not realizing that they're doing it all to themselves as well. So here you have the sibling that's looking at somebody having a lot of fun, feeling instantaneous lack, and trying to solve it by taking whatever it was that seemed to impart joy upon another. And as my children got older and I simply asked them questions like, what do you think you are teaching your brother or sister when you hit them? Do you think they're not going to learn to hit from you, or do you think they're going to learn to hit? They're probably going to learn to hit and hit me back. I agree with your judgment. Would you like to continue to teach them to hit you? Do you want to be hit? No, they would say. I literally had to go through this 5, 6, 10, a dozen times with them and ask them these questions. And an older person that we might ask, yeah, but, they would say. Well, yeah, but what? Yeah, but if I don't get mine, then I will have nothing. And ultimately, do you want to teach the world that you don't have? Do you want to try to create something and then tell the world that you have nothing? How is that going to go for you? It's not going to go well, but at this point, I don't know how to get to where you're trying to guide me. I understand, but let's at least start with some foundational things. Now, we could call them morals. Don't steal. Well, ultimately, if you take and steal somebody else's stuff, what are you telling the world is okay to do to your stuff? It's okay to steal and take your stuff. Is that what you would like to teach the world? Or would you instead like to perhaps begin the process of simply going after what you would love to create in your life? Not what you would fearfully like to get in your life, but what you would love to create in your life. So we can take this and extrapolate all the way down the road. Hey, what about murder? If you murder somebody, what are you teaching is okay to do to you? It's okay to maim and destroy your body. Is that what you would like? And of course, most of us in our right mind are going to say no. Now, again, I'm not going to talk about the psychopaths out there that don't have this moral compass. They've been damaged somehow, whether drugs, whether their psyche has been so crushed in such a weird way that's very difficult for them to see the way out. I'm not talking about those people right now. We can work with those people, but this is about the vast majority of us. So if I believe that there is plenty and abundance and love never stops loving, never ends, never rests, is eternal, is constantly expansive, and love is infinite, then there must be enough for me. And if I am at a position that I possess much and somebody comes along and takes, can I bless them on their way and say, it is okay, it is yours. I know that I cannot lack, and whatever you take will just simply come back. Now, I've talked about this and alluded to this in other podcasts where we talk about this bobbing. So in the word bobbing, what I mean is like a bobber bobbing on a lake fishing. We bob in that celestial ocean at where we are with the amount of love that we technically carry most of the time. If you carry a lot more fear, you bob at lower levels of more negativity. If you have released a lot of your negativity and you're bobbing at higher states of love, then you'll watch around your life be the most beautiful experiences most of the time. And if something happens that you think is maybe not that great, you're more likely to say, hold on a moment, I just don't see the good in this yet, but it's coming. And so I'm not going to snap judgment here. I'm going to simply see what's happening in my life as the most love that I can imagine right now, but let me see it clearly. But if I have mostly negativity because I bob at a very low energy state, then I'm going to run to snap judgments of negativity, of fear, of anger, of aggression, for hatred. And I'm going to whine, and I'm going to be a victim. So as we watch this moral code, as we elevate more and more and get closer and closer to love and light, to that design in which we were created, which is love itself, then all of a sudden morals go out the window. They're no longer necessary. They're meant to guide the lower negative states to try and dupe them, if you will, or guilt them or shame them into acting within societal norms. Instead of simply approaching that intellect of each individual, yourself and myself included, in telling us simply, these are the consequences of your actions right now as I see it. If you're going to steal, what is going to happen to all of your stuff? You're opening yourself wide open to saying, hey, stealing's great, go ahead and take all my stuff. But the moment that you try to steal something, you believe that you lack. And then let's say you create a business because you believe you lack. Well, now you've created a business to try to get something, or you've gone after a job out of fear rather than out of love. What could I bring to this company and help this particular company become even greater at? How can I help them express love to society even bigger, even more amazing? That is a better question when going into a job interview, when going into starting your own business, when going into doing anything that you do with love in your heart for everything that you do. Now you begin to emulate that perfect nature of ours, which is Christ. And of course, we look at Jesus as this example because that's what he did. He realized and embodied the fullness of what we are. It is why he told us over and over, you will do these things and greater if you will only believe and understand what you are. Not who you are, but what you are. That you are one with me because you are my mother, you are my brother, you are my sister, if you do the will of God, which is love, which is there is no lack, there is no limitation. You've been created in the fullness. That is what it means. In so many words. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. You can extrapolate this onto so many areas of your life and watch your life begin to be led with one of absolute joy, absolute peace, absolute abundance, and lead others upon your way and create the most beautiful experience for you and all those around you. Who wouldn't want to live like that? It is a gift you've already been given. Begin to relinquish all the old stuff that does not belong, that old man stuff inside your head that you created when you were 2 or 3 years of age and didn't even know you were doing it. Begin to see it truly and let it go effortlessly to live like that. It is a gift you've already been given. Begin to relinquish all the old stuff that does not belong, that old man stuff inside your head that you created when you were 2 or 3 years of age and didn't even know you were doing it. Begin to see it truly and let it go effortlessly. Do not fight it, just simply lay it aside. I hope this was helpful. I hope this kind of gave you a broad expanse of morality and that God isn't moral. He is literally the cornerstone of everything that is, and he created us just like himself, lacking nothing, complete, whole, perfect, innocent, joyful, all of it. And it's just waiting for us. Let us step into it together beautifully, joyfully, now. Until next time, I'm Dr. Troy Munson.